Recently, someone asked me in my community Q&As, where I get lots of great questions, they asked, what can we do to fight back against the left's institutional capture? And one thing I think is the easiest way is only if you buy a national lottery ticket or even postcode lottery, don't buy it anymore, which is, it sounds quite Scrooge-like to say, because the National Lottery, to be clear, it does fund a lot of worthy causes. If you go through the catalogue, you will undoubtedly, I suspect most people would come to the conclusion that they're funding a lot of good stuff. But nestled in there, and sometimes harder to spot because there are so many grants, so many are worthy, are a lot of really ideological ones that I consider personally a waste of money, and that they've only really got through because of identity politics. So they're reinforcing the woke dogma that is poisoning so many of our institutions. If you want to see what I mean, I've just done an article on my Substack about the National Lottery Community Fund. This is one grant that I find in all sorts of places when I'm investigating left-wing funding. And I wonder what they're up to. For instance, they have funded something called the Common Knowledge, which is basically an organisation that helps supply leftist groups with the infrastructure to become fully fledged activists. You know, everything from mapping their movements to setting up payrolls and things like that. And I've written extensively also about that on my Substack. If you want to have a probe yourself into what the National Lottery Community Fund is funding, you can look at the Doge UK website, where my colleague Sean Proctor, who's a volunteer, he's created an incredible amount of data on the site. It's all organised really well, and I really recommend people have a look, because what we really wanted to make the information accessible to everyone, and we're updating it weekly, doing a newsletter if you want to sign up to that. But without further ado, I will show you a quick preview of what we're finding on the grant finder. So the first thing to do is to go to Doge UK, that's doge-uk.com, and you'll see the whole page here, but at the top, menu, then funding UK public money and the National Lottery Community Fund. So we've got an overview at the top, and then you go down and you'll see it loading to £12.18 billion of funding, all grants from 2004 to 2025. This is publicly available information. So let's go to the national. So this is just the National Lottery Community Fund on its own. Let's go to its grants for 2024 to 25. So you got 613.65 million. And then straight away you can see some of the things. So refugee action, not a problem per se until you realise how much taxpayer money we're already spending and wonder why even more incentives are being given out. And we've also got this keyword filter. We have put a comment at the bottom which basically says keyword selections reflect patterns in the data that tend to surface results of ideological themes, though the keywords themselves are not inherently ideological. We just want to make that clear because we're going through a lot of data, so we need ways to filter out what is woke waste. So that is why we've chosen these things. Like quality is not bad in itself, for instance, but it's just that we know these keywords are going to bring up more ideological ones. So let's click on transgender, and you've got gendered intelligence, support for the families of young people who are transgender or non-binary. And already we know there's a lot of parents not happy with that. £20,000. Let's have a look at the other ones. Sanctuary, this is important because it links to cities of sanctuary. So Sanctuary City in Chichester, Leicester City of Sanctuary. And this is a scheme that's basically pro open borders for the UK, whatever they say. Migrant, Refugee and Migrant Association Forum of Essex. So yeah, Migrants Organised. This is just an activist group. I know it quite well actually. So that's £532,757. That's a lot of money. So you can see that you can just have a really good play on here. You can go back to other years and have a look through. You can even just search, you know, in general, you can search for a company that you might know. So yeah, we want everyone to be able to go and have a nose, see what's going on, to keep coming back to the website, because we're going to be uploading even more data there. If you sign up to our newsletter, you can get access to that. And yeah, check out my Substack if you want to see a list of some of the grants I've found.